So there's a lot going on right now between the US and Iran, and it's escalating after a top Iranian military leader was killed in a drone strike. Now, the conflict is so serious, it could actually impact us here at home. If you're not caught up, this all started back on December 27th. The US defense contractor was killed in a rocket attack in Iraq, and the US blamed it on an Iranian-backed militia. 2 days later, the US responds with an airstrike that killed 25 people. Then fast forward to New Year's Eve. Thousands who appeared to be connected to an Iranian militia group stormed the US embassy in Baghdad. The protesters pulled back later that day. Then Friday morning, though, a major escalation. The Pentagon confirmed a US drone strike at Baghdad's airport killed a top Iranian military leader. They say he was planning attacks on Americans, and US leaders have now given evidence for the claim that an imminent attack was in the works.
There was, in fact, an imminent attack taking place. The American people should know that this was an intelligence-based assessment that drove this.
How far this conflict will go and what the impacts will be are still up in the air, but here are 3 areas where all of this could impact us at home. Military tensions could continue. After the initial attack on the US embassy, 650 paratroopers were dispatched to Baghdad. Defense Secretary Mark Esper said it was the appropriate response to increased threat levels. And then on Friday, an additional 3,000 soldiers were also sent to the region. Iran's response is unknown, but they've vowed a, quote, forceful revenge. They could target US interests overseas or use proxies to strike those interests. And now there's even tons of speculation about the possibility of a war.
They're going to come after us with a vengeance if we do not reset the table pretty quickly. And if I were the president, I would put on the table targets in Iran, not Iraq and Syria. Economic targets that would crush the economy.
Iran could also turn to a cyber attack. They most notably attacked some of the US's biggest banks back in 2012 and 2013. Fearing retaliation from Iran, oil prices jumped immediately. The national average for a gallon of gas is about $2.58, and that's 3 cents higher than it was just a week ago. While that seems modest for now, the big concern is the Iran-controlled Strait of Hormuz, through which 3/4 of Middle Eastern oil flows. So, a Gallup poll from last summer said 65% of Americans expressed concern the US would be too quick to use military force. Of those who favored non-military options to work out differences between the two nations, 42% said they'd support using force if other efforts failed. President Trump ordered the airstrike that killed the Iranian leader without consulting Democratic members of Congress. And 2020 presidential candidates are now saying the attack violates Trump's pledge to avoid endless wars in the Middle East, where hundreds of thousands have died since 9/11. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called the decision a provocative and disproportionate action by the president, who's facing an impeachment trial in the Senate. Now, the State Department has urged Americans in Iraq, where this conflict is occurring, to leave the country. Iraq's president urged calm in the wake of the airstrike, saying right now the country is very fragile.